Hi, it's the Great Vanzini. I've cut my head off. Okay, that's fine. I'm playing a Gretsch 5420T in Fairlane Blue. And I don't know that with this ring light and the video lights, if that, it looks too light to me compared to what it really is. It's a darker blue with a little sprinkles of metallic in it that's kind of cool. I would have not bought a Fairlane Blue one. They come in orange, they come in a aspen green, and they come in another color too. Like it's called candy apple red, I think, but it's kind of like a cherry color, dark cherry, or a little darker than normal cherry anyway. But I feel silly at this point going over stats or the specs on any Gretsch. They're almost all identical, with the exception the streamliners are all 24 3/4 inch scale length, and the 5000 series are all a little different. This one is a 12-inch radius and a 24.6-inch scale. So it's a hair inch 15th of an inch less scale length than the black one. Than any of the streamliners that I've been showing, and it's I forget what the I just did the black one a few minutes ago, and it is 24.56. Oh, so this is 4/100ths of an inch longer than the black one. So that's interesting. The nut on this they call new bone, whereas on the streamliners they have synthetic bone or something like that. I don't remember the term of it. This is totally laminated maple front, sides, back on this. It comes with 2 Filtertron type pickups. They call them Filtertrons, but in fact when you listen to this compared to the big boys, the 6000 series Gretsches, to me those have a little more chime in them, a little more of the old Gretsch tone. These do too. These have some of that in it, more so than the streamliners, I think. That could all be in my imagination too, but it seems like they have just a pinch more than that. This has a rosewood fretboard according to the specs, whereas on the streamliners they're made out of laurel, which as I looked up is a relative distant or close to rosewood. And if I look at the two, I cannot tell a bit of difference between what is supposedly laurel and what is rosewood. This has a nice configuration around the pickups. It's kind of a off-white with a pinch of gray in it. It matches the pick guard, and so I like that. This has binding in the F-holes. This has binding up and down the neck, as did the black one, but the black one didn't have any binding on the headstock or in the F-holes. And the streamliners don't have that. They have binding on the body and the neck, and I think they all do. Now I'm trying to remember back. I don't remember. Same configuration, a master volume right here, a master tone down here, and two volume controls for each, one volume control for each pickup. So now in the streamliners, when you're in the middle position, if you turn off one of the pickups, it cuts everything out. On this model, it doesn't cut it out. Interesting that when you turn that treble, the bridge pickup on, it doesn't add in more bite or kick. It actually does very little, but you can hear it. You can hear it kick in. that's the bridge pickup. I've never, they put these little tags on it that says it's a secured bridge. These have pinned bridges, and as I recall, the pins are actually in the body and the bridge sits on top of them. I think I have that right. I may have that wrong. When you go to the older ones, like the 5120, the black one I just showed on another video, no pinned bridge. That said, I have never moved a bridge. I don't play real heavy, but I've never moved a bridge in my life on any of these, except it brought back to my memory. I used to have a Gibson, a 1948 Gibson L50, and I was rocking out acoustically with a couple other people, and one person had a banjo, and to keep up with that banjo and to be heard, I had to really. And I when I got home, I realized all the intonation was out. I had shifted it, but it had some damage already. So I shifted that, and I had an ES 125 back in the day, and I did the same thing with it, just strumming pretty hard. And I had lighter gauge strings, not knowing anything about strings back 10 years ago when I was young. It was more than 10 years, but I just, once you put on the heavy gauge strings, I didn't realize that, but you put on like 13 gauge, 12 gauge strings, something like that. I got one guitar with 12 gauge on them. They're really hard if you got arthritis, so I tend to use 11 gauge flat wounds on jazz boxes, and those things you never move the bridge because those strings tuned fully up are keeping things anchored down pretty well. I suppose if you really hit it, if you really did a Brian Setzer on it, you could probably shift that bridge around a little bit. So these stay in tune far better than they should. You just think with a Bigsby hitting it one time would maybe cause it to go out of tune. It doesn't. Of course, they're not made for dive bombing, but I mean, if you hit them off and on, if I was playing live and I used it in a song and I did that 3 or 4 or 5 times, I would go right to my tuner in between every song, and that I do that with. I would make sure I stay in tune that way. I would double check it. Anyway, that's the Gretsch 5420T in Fairlane Blue. I would have taken any of the other colors. Cherry red, aspen green. What's the other color? What did I mention earlier? But this has grown on me. I like the sparkly quality of it. It's kind of metallic. Bigsby B60. I think almost all of them have a Bigsby B60. I don't know my Bigsbys well enough to tell you the difference between one and the other. I think this is just their very basic Bigsby. So, but it works. Now, a little out of tune. These three-way switches on cheaper guitars go out sometimes within a year. The Gretsches have done really, really well. Until earlier this evening, I tried to make this video and I screwed it all up. And I went completely dead. It completely went out on me. And I just had to give it some of this, so it's some dust that's in there. I'm going to have to go in and clean it out. Other brands, I've just had them go out within a year and they're just gone, you know. So if I were replacing anything, this has open tuners, just like the 5120. If I were going to start making this a better guitar, I'd probably start with the tuners. The three-way switch, I don't know, the Gretsches have been really good. The Gretsches have been great. So until tonight, earlier tonight, this one started giving me trouble. So that's it, 5120. Feel free to leave comments down below. Please don't attack my playing. I'm just incredibly rusty because I just, you know, I pick up a guitar and I play it for 5 minutes while ads are on TV, or I got a few minutes downtime while I'm uploading something on the computer. Maybe I fiddle around with it. I need to get a little serious and jump on board. These come with 10 gauge strings, 10 to 46. It is a blacktop Filtertron pickup. Although I noticed on the newer ones, they looked, the picture I saw looked like the whole pickup was black instead of the chrome. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. So, not sure. 12-inch radius, did I say that? New bone nut. Not to be confused with their synthetic nut. Oh yeah, it's got the finger nail, thumbnail markers on it. They're not just thumbnail markers, they are Pearloid Neoclassic thumbnail markers. Glossy urethane, single cutaway, 22 medium jumbo frets. Nut width is 1.6875. I think they're all that. I haven't run in, I keep seeing that on all of them. So, I can't think of anything else. I'm probably missing something. On some of these, it seems to me on hollow bodies more so than solids. It might be my imagination. I've had more trouble with the jacks coming loose or being loose, and you have to tighten them up and not just twist them around and around and around till you screw something up. I've not had that trouble at all with the Gretsches. They've just been rock solid, and I'm using those cheap cords you get at Guitar Center because we don't have much in the way of music stores around here. That I've heard complaints about these blue coated ones, and compared to the ones that the local music store sells here, where it's closest to me, they're day and night better. So I like them. That's it. I'm done again. About the third time. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Feel free to subscribe up, and I'm going to keep trying to make short little videos. I just thought it would be good. I have a lot of guitars. I've kind of collected them over the years, and I've gotten rid of a bunch, but I always seem to end up getting one or two more. Man, I'm really cutting my head off. I hate that. I seem to always end up getting sell 2 buy 3, you know, so I thought if nothing else, I'll put them up so if people maybe have questions about them. And there's going to be there'll be some solid bodies, some tellies and some strats, and some reverends, some jazz boxes. When I get to tellies, I'm going to probably do 2 or 3 in one take, make it a little longer video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and you have a good day, good night, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you next time around. I think I got one more Gretsch to go.